Hello. My name is Rhoda Au, and I'm a neuropsychologist. And I think I'm up here because I'm evidence that if you do something early enough and long enough, the rest of the world will create the tools that you need to do something with it. So I'm going to give you just a little bit background on our Framingham Brain Aging program, just to let you know that we started essentially the studies of dementia in Framingham in 1976-78. Why is that significant? The diagnostic criteria for AD-ADRD were not published till 1984, okay? And then we continued our work. Big sea change in 1999. That's because we got funding that allowed us to expand our dementia studies to go earlier and earlier. And what I want to focus on is how we have added digital technologies within the Framingham Heart Study, starting in 2005 with digital voice, 2011 with digital pen, and then the smartphone in 2022. So let me just start with digital voice because that's what we've been doing for a long time. We now have over 20 years of this data. No one thought at that time that digital voice was anything, but it turns out speaking is a cognitively complex task. So what we thought was, wow, we think we can detect cognitive changes in speaking behavior. But first, you have to do a little bit of validation on that. So we've done a little bit of work. You know, we looked at some of the acoustic features, and we related to looked at it in comparison to the traditional neuropsychological tests, and then related it to AD plasma biomarkers. So these are biomarkers that you can now measure in blood that indicates that someone has actual pathology. And what we were able to do is demonstrate that these acoustic features when you're speaking are related to your risk of having this pathology, and better than the neuropsychological tests. And then through the magic of Yannis Pachilidis, who's in the crowd along with his student, we were able to actually take that from a text-based standpoint and demonstrate that from these voice recordings, you can predict who's going to progress to dementia years later. Importantly, the text-based model was almost as good as the more complex models and certainly outperformed the neuropsych ones. Now, we're also interested in the concept of digital biomarkers, and it turns out Framingham has been collecting blood now for many, many decades. So we have 30,000 blood samples that we can use in order to measure these 80 biomarkers and other markers. We have all this digital data, and now we can combine them to start looking at this concept of digital biomarkers for AD. And then finally, we're not satisfied. There's much more to do. There are many more technological opportunities. So we've now built an entire pipeline from data collection using a smartphone application. We use some social engagement through a digital engagement platform. And we're able to now push forward and think about how do we collect this data at a global scale in order to get to the representativeness that we want to get to the reality of precision brain health. And so with that, you can look forward to more to come. Thank you.